I hope you're all doing great, having a wonderful day or night. And I'm here live from Santo Domingo, and I just wanted to come and just have a casual video with you guys talking about the aftermath of the hurricane, however you want to pronounce it, Fiona, that just passed by our country. So, if more of you start getting into the chat, I would love to have any questions that you guys may have about what happened during and after the hurricane. Any questions you guys may have about the preparations that Dominicans usually have when preparing for a hurricane. And I'm just going to start talking about what happened, what we experienced here, what areas were affected, and specifically, obviously, if you guys did read the news, the hurricane did go into the east and northeast portion of the country. It didn't hit as hard here in Santo Domingo, but there were a few things going on here in Santo Domingo that I'm going to talk about. So let me just say hi to all of y'all. Let me see. Let me show the chat live. Okay. Just pushing the buttons over here. Um, all right. All right, so we have a few of you already connected. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. I hope you have your hot cocoa, or if you're having lunch, have a good lunch. Bon appetit. And now let's get started. So Fiona, as you might know, is not Shrek's wife. We're talking about the hurricane that recently hit the Dominican Republic, and unfortunately, we did have a few deaths here in the country. I'm gonna talk to you about that, the circumstances, and how many deaths there were. And we have thousands, more than 10,000 people that have been displaced from their homes because of the heavy rains that we saw in the country. Thanks for sharing information. I looked around and could not find anything. Oh, thank you so much. All right, so the information I'm gonna get to right now. Like I said, there were more than 12,000 people that have been displaced currently in the country. The heavier and most powerful impact was in the eastern portion of the country and in the northeast portion of the country. So you get places like Punta Cana, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. Punta Cana was hit very hard by the hurricane. Also, Las Terrenas, you guys all know Las Terrenas is one of the most tourist places in the entire country. So, Las Terrenas was beat very, very hard. Places like Nagua and more places like El Ceibo, for example, it's one of the eastern municipalities or provinces, should I say, in the country. It was hit extremely hard, and it is one of the poorer provinces here. So that was very sad. A lot of institutions and a lot of places have put in place some donation bins so people can donate here in Santo Domingo, and they're gonna take them all to the people that are installed away from their homes. So that's another bit of news that I have for you. Let me check. People are talking in the chat. All right. Yeah, sadness. That's yeah, very sad. So luckily here in Santo Domingo, we didn't get a lot of impact of the hurricane. We did have a lot of rain during those days, and we still currently have rain. Like, I'm here next to a window and I can still hear thunder outside, so we still have a little bit of rain coming by. And they do say that we're gonna get a lot more rain in the next few days. So Fiona's not done with us yet, you guys. And there are new tropical storms walking. There are new tropical storms running through the Caribbean that are gaining some speed, and there's one in particular that just gained a name. So if you guys are familiar with this thing, like when the tropical storms are strong enough, they name them. So this one that just recently got named is called Ian. And so Ian is wandering about in the Caribbean. So we're all looking out for Ian now. but we still have rain and thunder from Fiona. So if you guys hear any weird thunder, it's because we are in a cloudy day, and that's why I'm not purely walking and such. So let me see a little bit of questions that you guys may have. So AG says, I'm looking to buy a property, therefore retirement. As follow as much as I can to learn more about where I buy and where it may be safer to buy a home. Yes, Piantini. Does Piantini have new building apartments all the time? Piantini, if you want to check out my video, I did a video on just walking around Piantini. You can see all those new buildings. There's always building new things in Piantini. And AG, if you're looking for a place for a retirement, and you're looking for Santo Domingo, I'm not sure how high end you want to go, but like Piantini, Naco, I'm sorry, I put my finger in the actual camera. Piantini, Naco, Bellavista, La Esperilla is a good place. What other sectors? Well, if you want to go a little bit old school, Gascue has some really nice houses, like colonial style houses. They're a little older, but it's a very quiet, tranquil place. What other places? Well, obviously Casicascos. I have a video driving through Casicascos, and you can see it's one of the most elite places here in the Santo Domingo area as well. So that's just to name a few. Let me see the other questions. Um, what's a good website to look for apartments? Obviously, supercasas.com. So super, like just as you would write it in English, super, super, casas, which would be houses in Spanish, supercasas.com. That would be the place that I look for if, like, for the first time, if I want to like rent or buy or look at different listings, that's a good place to always go. Let me see. Yes, it was very calm here in Santo Domingo, so I trust my family and everyone in the eastern provinces and other country slash islands will be safe. Yes, here in Santo Domingo, everything was pretty much, rainy days. It was raining. We did have a little bit of gusts of wind over here, but it did not, transpire anything greater than that, thankfully. And oh, you're very welcome, recession proof. Okay, but not too expensive. Thanks. I will check it out. Okay, well, let me tell you, AG. If How can I explain this? Okay, so if you are looking for prices that are the more expensive ones, you're always gonna get, Piantini, Naco, Bellavista. The ones I mentioned basically have the most expensive apartments and houses. Especially if you go to Cuesta Hermosa. I did recently have a video on Cuesta Hermosa, so you can see the beautiful houses and mansions there are in that area. You always get like the more expensive homes there, but they are the most, how should I say, established locations where you can go. So you would have probably more security, probably more, you would have more probability of having a 24-hour electric circuit. So the electricity is, always stable. I don't know if you are familiar with the country, but we do have power outages regularly here, and there are some sectors that do have 24-hour electricity. And even in those sectors, the light goes out sometimes. But if you have your inverter or your energy machines or whatnot, you're good to go. Anyway, if you're looking for not too expensive, I don't know, I would still check out these areas, because if you don't look for the brand new buildings and you look for the older buildings, you might get better deals on that. But I would prefer to recommend the more established locations instead of, recommending other areas. There are like middle to high areas that you can look into, like El Millón, for example. That's a good middle to high end one that you can look for. That's way less expensive than Piantini or Naco. You can look for that. Another real high end one is Serrayes, which is right next to some of the plazas, the most famous plazas like Agora Mall, and like it's near 360, Galeria 360. So Serrayes is another good one, but Serrayes is quite expensive. So I would say probably El Millón is like your middle to high end, and it's not as expensive as the other ones that I mentioned. You might want to look there as well. I don't know. There are so many sectors here in Santo Domingo that it's hard to like pinpoint everything. But I hope that those names that I gave you, you can look into them, and I hope that they're useful for you. Oh, I love your videos. Well, thank you so much. The good area, Santo Domingo Centro, Este, Norte, Oeste. Well, let me give you a sense of the whole Santo Domingo issue. So, Santo Domingo is a huge city. It's like one of the biggest cities. It's actually on the top of the list of like the biggest cities. And so it's divided into various municipalities because it is so big. So we have Distrito Nacional, which is like the city center, and then we have Santo Domingo Oeste, Santo Domingo Este, Santo Domingo Norte, right? So then, oh, thank you so much, De La Cruz, for that super chat. So anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so those are the divisions of the whole of Santo Domingo. And I would say the best one, in my opinion, is the center one, just because we have the most popular commercial plazas, like the malls. The coolest malls are here. The coolest stores are here. For example, like if you want to go to Starbucks, you only get Starbucks here in Distrito Nacional. I don't think there is a Starbucks in Santo Domingo Norte, Santo Domingo Este, none of that. Um, so we also have like La Zona Colonial, which is the most touristy place here in Santo Domingo. And most of the best universities are also here in the city center. And on top of that, since you have a lot of commerces here, most of the best jobs are also located in Distrito Nacional. So, can you live in the other municipalities and travel? Like if you work, for example, in Santo Domingo, Distrito Nacional, can you live somewhere else? Of course you can. But you guys, let me just say that traffic here is so hectic. It's so crazy. So what you want to do is always try to live right next to where you work or where your children are going to be going to school. Just try to live closer to wherever you're going to be handling yourself, because otherwise you're going to go crazy with traffic. Actually, let me give you a little bit of a story, without giving away the privacy of the person. We know someone that recently moved next to us. So it's like a neighbor that we have. And when we were just meeting that person, we're like, oh, hi, how you doing? And we're just, doing the small talk thing. And this person was like, well, I have an apartment that I bought in Santo Domingo Este. And I actually had to rent it out and move here. Like he's renting an apartment right next to us because he couldn't handle the traffic going back and forth from Santo Domingo Este to Distrito Nacional. There are a few bridges that you take, and those bridges get so hectic with traffic. And so, what I suggest, if you have the money to do it, is just live or buy or rent wherever you're going to be handling yourself, because Santo Domingo traffic is going to soak up your life. Okay, so that would be one of my best suggestions. Guys, I'm sorry I got off track. I was starting to talk about Fiona, but I am trying to answer your questions as well. So if you guys came here for the chat about Fiona, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to also answer everyone's questions. Let me see what other questions we have. Do they take the electricity in the apartment buildings? Do they take the electricity in the apartment buildings? I'm not sure what you refer to that question. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I will say, speaking about Fiona, Punta Cana and the northeast portion of the country did have lights go out for like 2 days after the hurricane. So they after the 2 days, they did reestablish the electricity, and they reestablished the water. So there was no water, no electricity for like 2 days. And that was probably really hectic. One of my best friend lives in Punta Cana, and she was telling me it was very scary. Sorry guys. Hold on, let me adjust my camera here. All right, I think that's better. So anyway, one of my best friend lives in the Punta Cana area, and she was telling me that it was very scary. There was no harm done to where she specifically lived, but there was a lot of damage done. And so, well, let me talk to you about. We did have two deaths here in the country due to Fiona, and that was only a hurricane one, like category one. So that was very, very sad. I mean, one of the first death was actually a 72-year-old man that was, I don't know, for some reason he was doing something near a tree that was next to his house. The tree fell down to the due to the wind, and it fell on him. And sorry, I mean, I'm sorry to be talking about this, but I just, since I wanted to give you the information. And the second death was also highly sad because it was a young person. It was a young woman, actually, very beautiful girl. She was on top of her class, best GPA in her class. She was full of life, full of energy, full of dreams, and unfortunately she was hit by, I don't know if it was a tree or an electric something fell on top of her. Well, anyway, I don't want to get too graphic. I just want to tell you that there were two deaths. Um, wanna I wanted to give you the generalities of the circumstances, and yeah, just pray for the families of those people. Sorry, there's a cell phone ringing. Anyway, just pray for those families that have been hit with the deaths of their loved ones due to Fiona. And I also want to pray for all those that have been displaced from their homes due to the rivers growing and basically flooding their houses. There are more than 12,000 people that have been displaced. The president, Luis Abinader, has said that they are currently calculating the economic damages, and they will give that information shortly. We don't have a specific number on how much it's going to cost to rebuild everything. Let me see the others. I can't see the chat. Okay, here we are. Hey, Ellie, keep up the good work for providing English content for our home country. Oh, thank you so much, Agenda de Juan. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and I am so glad this information is cool for you and interesting to you. So, I don't know if there's any more questions on Fiona. That's all the information I unfortunately have. Thankfully, me and my family are safe, and my best friend that lives in the eastern side of the country, she and her whole family is safe as well. So, speaking of the East, another news that I have for you is the fact that I am soon going to be going to Punta Cana. And I wanted to ask you guys, please comment below if you have any wishes, anything that you specifically would like me to check out over there in Punta Cana. Actually, let me tell you a little secret of mine is the fact that I was actually going this weekend to Punta Cana. I had my reservation done over there, and I was going to travel over there, and I was going to film a lot of videos. I had all my plans ready. And then Fiona came. So those plans were, I decided to, change everything because it wasn't going to be a good moment to be going over there to have like fun where while people are like, displaced from their homes and such. So I decided to wait, a few weeks maybe. So I'm soon going to be going to Punta Cana. Just wanted to tell you guys that there are going to be a few videos on Punta Cana coming up. Is there anything specific that you guys want to know about Punta Cana, anywhere specific that you guys want to see? I do have a small little series on the channel about Punta Cana. I did go to some of like the most famous malls over there. You might want to check those out. They're on the channel, so you can just look that up and that'll go up for you. Is the Malecon safe and great area? The Malecon here in Santo Domingo is an awesome, awesome area. It's actually one of my favorite areas to go. It's if you like outdoors and you like, beautiful scenery, Malecon is definitely the way to go. Unfortunately, Malecon Center, which was supposed to be like the it place for shopping near that coastal area, didn't hit as well with the public. It's really destroyed. I do have a walkthrough on Malecon Center, and as a commercial area, It's completely, it's not a good one, but it does have a lot of apartment buildings. If you see that it got a little bit cloudier, it's because it actually started raining right now. Like, if you're probably gonna hear, I don't know if you can hear the rain, but anyway, um, Malecon Center, it does have beautiful apartments, because there are like three towers. But the commercial part, the commercial aspect, like the mall aspect of it, it's not working currently. But it is a great area in the city. Obviously, has great views. It has wonderful restaurants. It has wonderful hotel. Like, the some of the best hotels in the city are from the Malecon area. As far as it's safe, I will say yes, it is safe because it is one of the most touristy areas of the city. So there is a lot of security. I do have a few videos on Malecon if you want to check those out. I have one on Plaza Guivia, which is one of like the coolest places there in the Malecon area. It's like a beach, but people don't bathe in it. It's just like a beach where you go to like hang out, eat some ice cream. There's like a little bar, things like that. And there is Plaza Juan Barón, which is a full-on plaza that is almost like an amusement park right now. So there's like go-karts, there's like a Ferris wheel, all that stuff, and all of it is looking over the ocean. So it's so beautiful. I love Malecon. Definitely a good area to go. They're also building. There's I passed by the other day. They're building some new apartments right across the street from like Adrian Tropical, which is one of the most famous restaurants overlooking the ocean in the Malecon area. It's like right across the street, and they're building this new complex of apartments there. Mwah, it's so beautiful. I think it's called Mural, something like that. Well, you can look it up and you'll probably find it online. They even have an Instagram account, I believe. And yeah, Malecon is definitely a good one. Yeah. So, guys, I think that was all the information I wanted to give you. Just stay tuned in the next days for my videos on Punta Cana. I'm truly excited. I love going there. And I hope that you are all praying for the families that were hit in some type of way by this hurricane, not only in DR, but in Puerto Rico and all the other Caribbean islands. And so I hope you all stay safe. Please don't forget to comment below anything that you might want to know about Santo Domingo, about Dominican Republic as a whole, and of course about Punta Cana because I'm going there really, really soon. So, guys, with all my love, I'm going to be signing out, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.